Today on Animal Atlas, there's no place like Africa, especially when it comes to unique animals. So settle in as we embark on safari to explore the amazing animals of Africa. All this and more coming up now on Animal Atlas. Welcome to Animal Atlas. Come with us around the globe and explore the animal world and its jungle animals and desert creatures. We'll meet wildlife on the savannah and see our underwater friends and animals from the Arctic Circle. Anywhere, everywhere animals live. It's always an adventure when you tour the planet with Animal Atlas. Destination Africa. It's the world's second largest continent, and that means it's got all kinds of landscapes. Deserts, grasslands, rainforests, and coasts, providing homes for all kinds of animals. And the landscapes are as different as the kinds of animals you'll find living there. The continent's incredible wildlife brings visitors from around the world, all to see elephants, giraffes, lions, and so many more. Their sights and sounds, all in their natural habitats. Let's begin our safari in the African savanna to visit some of the biggest animals on Earth. Africa is surrounded by water. The Mediterranean Sea to the north, the Atlantic Ocean to the west and south. The Indian Ocean and the Red Sea border the land to the east. And across the middle is the equator. It all adds up to some of the most impressive beauty and beasts imaginable. In fact, just about any zoo you visit has a special section just for African animals. That's probably because they're some of the biggest, fastest, and toughest animals on Earth. People love them. So zoos go all out trying to make their exhibits look as close to the real thing as possible. And those exhibits better be big. They have to be able to house the African savanna elephant. You're looking at the largest animal that lives on land. These incredible mammals can grow more than 13 feet tall and weigh up to 15,000 pounds. That's taller than 2 grown men stacked on top of each other, and heavier than about 5 cars. Elephants also live in Asia, but African elephants are bigger. Another way to tell them apart is by looking at their ears. African elephants have much bigger ears, and they're kind of shaped like the African continent. These large ears actually play a very important role in helping elephants stay cool. They radiate body heat and help the rest of the body cool down. Splashing around in water is another way they stay cool. Elephants suck water into their trunks and hose down their bodies. A roll in the dust afterward helps protect them from direct sunlight and heat. Male elephants tend to roam alone, while females stick to family herds and raise their young. Take a look at this baby elephant. It's pretty mind-boggling that they're in their mother's womb for 22 months before they're born. And they come into the world already weighing around 250 pounds and standing about 3 feet tall. Oh, and many suck their trunks like human babies suck their thumbs. Those amazing trunks sure do make the elephant stand out from other animals. The trunk is basically a long nose. Okay, and trumpet. But elephants don't just use them for smelling, noise, and water play. There are about 100,000 different muscles in an African elephant's trunk, and sort of 2 fingers on the end. That's how these gentle giants grab things, including the amazing amounts of grass, fruits, roots, and tree bark that they eat each day. Their beautiful ivory tusks come in handy too, but also make them a target for hunters. They can help dig for food and water or strip tree bark for a meal. And the average elephant needs about 300 pounds of food a day. With an appetite like that, it's no wonder they may be the biggest land animals around. But the tallest award goes to the giraffe. They're also only found in Africa. And it would take 5 giraffes to equal the weight of 1 male elephant. But these spotted towers grow to about 20 feet tall, a good 7 feet taller than the average elephant. That allows giraffes to eat the leaves no other animals can touch. And their long neck isn't their only impressive length. Giraffes have the longest tails of any animal on land. They usually measure about 8 feet long, even longer than an elephant's trunk. Like elephants, giraffes live in herds. And, like elephants, their size means they don't have many predators. But when the occasional lion or crocodile shows up on the hunt, giraffes have some impressive defenses. They have a deadly powerful kick, and they can run surprisingly fast. About 35 miles an hour for short distances. Another interesting giraffe fact, they only need 5 to 30 minutes of sleep per day. And you'll rarely hear them make a sound. But that doesn't mean they don't communicate. Giraffes actually moo, snort, hiss, roar, and grunt. Experts think most of their noises are probably lower than the level of human hearing. But one thing's for sure, they're the first to spot danger. And when a herd of giraffes starts to run, so do all the other animals around them. Another fast runner is this bird, the ostrich, which can be seen running through the African plains. What makes this fast bird unique is that it is also the largest bird in the world. An ostrich can outrun a giraffe, topping out around 43 miles an hour. It's a good thing too, since these massive birds are not able to fly. They are usually about 9 feet tall and weigh about 250 pounds. No wonder they can't flap their way off the ground. You've probably heard that these birds are famous for sticking their head into the sand, but that's actually not true. The story probably comes from male ostriches digging shallow holes for the females to lay their eggs, which just happens to be the largest eggs in the world, measuring in at about 5 inches tall and wide. When we come back to Animal Atlas, we'll continue our safari and find out why so many animals bear the African name. But first, see if you can guess the answer to this animal fact. Which of these animals cannot be found in Africa? Is it antelopes, bears, penguins, or all of the above? The answer coming up when we return to Animal Atlas. Did you guess the right answer to our question? Which of these animals cannot be found in Africa? The answer is B, bears. Of all the impressively fierce animals that make up the African landscape, you won't be able to find any bears roaming the African savanna, since there are no bears native to the continent. Bragging rights for the world's biggest bear goes to the great white polar bear, and you'll only find those up around the Arctic Circle. But Africa does have another animal famous for its love of cold weather. These black-footed penguins are also known as African penguins. They live along the coast of the southern continent, where temperatures stay around 68 degrees. And there's something else that sets these penguins apart from their colder weather relatives. They make noise like a donkey. In fact, their hee-haw sound has earned them the nickname jackass penguins. Like ostriches, African penguins can't fly. But there are plenty of other African birds that can, like the eastern yellow-billed hornbill, the African auger buzzard, and the African long-crested eagle. They're all excellent flyers. So are the East African crowned cranes. And are you noticing a pattern in most of these animals' names? Many seem to have Africa in their names. It's because Africa has its own species of these animals. Frogs are a good example. You'll only find the African bullfrog or the African clawed frog in Africa. Same goes for the giant African millipede or the African crested porcupine. And some African animals' names get even more specific. The Maasai giraffe is also known as the Kilimanjaro giraffe. It lives near Mount Kilimanjaro in the African countries of Kenya and Tanzania. The wild Somali ass is native to the Somali Republic. That's in the area known as the Horn of Africa. The continent's rivers are behind some animal names too. The Red River hog is named after its home waters. And so is the black rhino. But the name of this rhino is misleading. It's about the same color as the white rhino, which also lives in Africa. But the black rhino is named after the Black Mfolozi River it calls home. That's in South Africa. The white rhino wasn't named for its color either. Dutch settlers called it Widgie because of its wide snout. As you can see, the description sure fits. When we come back to Animal Atlas, we're getting up close and personal with a few more of the world's strangest looking creatures. Plus, the striking facts about this dangerous African river dweller. But first, see if you can guess the answer to this animal fact. Which African animal is the most dangerous to man? Is it the crocodile, the hippopotamus, the lion, or the zebra? The answer coming up when we return to Animal Atlas. We're back! Did you guess the right answer to our question? Which African animal is the most dangerous to man? The answer is A, the crocodile. Although all of these animals are considered dangerous and aggressive, it's the crocodile that's hurt the most humans. This enormous beast is named after the Nile region it calls home. The Nile is the world's longest river. And this is one of the world's most dangerous and largest crocodiles in the world. In fact, if it could stand straight up on its tail, this creepy croc would be about 20 feet tall. That's as tall as a giraffe. And its powerful jaws are no match for its prey. These crocodiles can eat half their body weight in one feeding. They find birds, porcupines, baby hippos, and zebras tasty. And they've been known to eat humans from time to time. That makes them more dangerous than any other African animal. Here's another big African animal with some strange looks. Like the Nile crocodile, the Nile hippopotamus is also named after its river home. Hippos spend their nights grazing the grasslands and their days in the cool currents of the water. That explains why their eyes, ears, and nostrils are all on top of their head. The river can sure hide this massive animal's size. They're about 15 feet long. Not as long as a Nile crocodile, but the hippo has one impressive advantage over its fellow river dweller. Hippos weigh almost 8,000 pounds. That's equal to 16 Nile crocodiles. And probably also explains why crocs only really eat baby hippos. The hippopotamus does not eat meat, but they sure have impressive mouths. Their jaws allow their mouths to open to almost 180 degrees. That's almost half a circle. But it's the hippo's horny lips that help them pull up grass to eat. So maybe the teeth are for protection? After all, they sharpen themselves as these massive animals chew. And hippos are famous for being very unfriendly and aggressive. They live in groups of females, with one male bull as the herd leader. These very territorial beasts will run off any other hippos that don't belong in their area. And they live to about 45 years old. Africa's most recognizable animals is the zebra. These black and white horse-like creatures have to always be on guard. They're often hunted by lions, cheetahs, and hyenas. So it makes sense that they live in herds and help each other look out for danger. They also groom each other. Their worst fear is probably stumbling upon a family of lions known as a pride. The lion is often called the king of the jungle, and it's certainly one of the top cats in the food chain. And lions aren't the only impressive cats on the continent. The cheetah is the fastest animal on land. It only takes them 3 seconds to go from standing still to running 60 miles per hour. That leaves other African cats in the dust, like the serval cat and the leopard. You'll find dogs in Africa too. African wild dogs have some unique coloring and travel in packs like wolves. You might notice that they look fairly similar to hyenas that also roam the African plain. Hyenas are neither cats nor dogs, but are in an animal family all their own. One-of-a-kind animals are abundant in Africa. The meerkat lives in burrows underneath the African landscape. They live in groups called mobs, gangs, or clans. Their fast-bobbing heads are a familiar sight across the deserts of southern Africa, living with as many as 50 meerkats to a clan. They're part of the mongoose family, and they love to eat insects, with the occasional lizard, snake, spider, or scorpion thrown in for some added flavor. It doesn't matter that scorpions have poisonous venom. Meerkats are immune. But these brave hunters do sometimes die from snake bites. Meerkats are amazing diggers and can dig through their entire body weight in sand in a matter of seconds. That means their prey usually has no chance to get away. One meerkat stands guard, watching for predators like eagles and jackals, while the other meerkats hunt. The dwarf mongoose is another excellent hunter. Much like their meerkat relatives, they live in large groups. But these ground dwellers prefer Africa's grasslands, bushlands, and open forests. Their entire clan helps raise the family pups, and it's common to find them living near human settlements. In fact, many dwarf mongooses become quite tame toward people, and they love sleeping on termite mounds. This ugly African rat is a little less friendly. And once you've seen a naked mole rat, you probably won't ever forget it. They're as tough as they look. Their skin can't feel any pain, which helps them survive living in some of Africa's harshest environments. They live in tunnel systems in the drier parts of Africa's tropical grasslands. And their tunnel towns can stretch for more than 3 miles underground. And then there's this African burrower, the rock hyrax. Its closest relative might surprise you. This creature may look like a guinea pig, but it's actually related to the elephant. That may explain why they live in colonies. Just like elephants like living in groups, so do these little creatures. Each community is called a colony. As you can see, Africa is full of fascinating life forms. The warthog, the wildebeest, and the gazelle. There are plenty of monkeys, like the mandrill and the hamadryas baboon. The black and white colobus is a smaller primate, along with a variety of ganons. The bonobo is one of 3 kinds of great apes that come from Africa. The gorilla and the chimpanzee are from Africa too. But we saved one of the world's favorite African animals for last. You'll never see anything quite like the okapi. They're the only relatives of the giraffe. And they look like a giraffe and zebra smashed together. So you can see that Africa has some pretty amazing animals. No wonder it's the world's favorite place to visit for wildlife adventure. Visit us at animalatlas.tv. Don't go away. Animal Atlas is right back. Until next time on Animal Atlas.
Hey, neighbor, could I borrow a cup of brown sugar?
Oh, it's always something with you, isn't it? Get out of here.
Fine, I'm keeping the lawnmower then.
Yes, closer. I can wait.
All right, everybody, stay close. Now, we're looking for the C concourse. See, is that it over there? I can't read that sign.
Marco.
Polo.
Marco.
Polo.
Hey, you're out of the water. That's cheating.
Your eyes are open. That's cheating too. Let's call it a draw.
Yep, when I moved to the jungle, none of these malls was here. Just the pharmacy, the five and dime, and that was it. They really built this place up.
Now this is what I call lunch a la carte.